matter whether they live in the city or in regional New Zealand, and actually puts a value on that. Sport is an important part of that, but it's not the only part.
I call David Seymour.
Mr Speaker, I rise on behalf of the ACT Party in opposition to this bill. And, Mr Speaker, I couldn't help but wonder when Julianne Genter was speaking, what would she do if it came down to a choice between pay-per-view sport or sport that was funded by advertising of sugary drinks? What would she do in that particular dilemma? I have no idea, but it was clear that she didn't really support the bill anyway. I like to compliment the Labour Party for taking a principled view on this bill, but from New Zealand First, we couldn't expect any better. There are people who come into politics for purely populist reasons and people that come into politics to make better public policy. And this is a classic example of purely populist. That is a very good point from Simon Bridges. They may not know at all, but I can tell them why they're there. It is for purely populist politics and nothing to do with making better public policy. Because what this bill would do is take the owners of private property, of brands, of events, of institutions, and take away their right to sell their property to another private interest that still more New Zealanders have paid to consume a product from. And if we start going down that track, well, Mr Speaker, there are just so many examples of different things in New Zealand that are produced by private enterprise, that constitute private property, that other New Zealanders choose to consume, that, in theory, we could apply this concept to. Take, for example, the agricultural sector and the food sector in New Zealand. Well, why should we stop at sport when we could have free to eat? There are lots of people that want lots of food that is produced by all sorts of businesses. And if you don't care about the property rights of all of those people that work and produce and invest, just like New Zealand First doesn't care about the New Zealand Rugby Union, doesn't care about Netball New Zealand, doesn't care about New Zealand Cricket or any of their rights, why shouldn't we just take away the rights and the property of the entire food sector? We could call it free to eat. We could call it free to eat. But what about the clothing sector? There's a lot of people who want to wear Karen Walker. I know that Simon Bridges is one of them. And yet, why shouldn't we have a free-to-wear policy? Karen Walker doesn't deserve the property rights for the business that she's built up over a long period of time. With the forthcoming Members' Bill from New Zealand First, free-to-wear, everybody can have Karen Walker jewellery and clothing and bugger the property rights of New Zealand businesses. But what about entertainment? What about entertainment? What about Adele's concert? Why should she be able to come to New Zealand and charge people? What about Justin Bieber? I hear from Paul Foster Bell. Paul Foster Bell wants to know why he can't have free tickets to Justin Bieber. Why should Justin Bieber be allowed to come to New Zealand and sell his tickets only to people that actually pay to go to his concert? It's an outrage. We should have free to believe. Free to believe. People should be able to get free Justin Bieber tickets for the good of our nation. But, Mr Speaker, what about cars? We should have free to drive. Why should people, private businesses, be able to import cars into New Zealand and sell them only to people who pay to buy them? This is an outrage. We should have a free-to-drive policy so that everybody can freely drive cars funded by the taxpayer or by advertising. Mr Speaker, if you take it to its logical conclusion, this New Zealand First bill has no respect for property rights, no respect for business, no respect for individual choice and free enterprise. It takes us back to a world where we're all watching the same, we're all wearing the same, we're all going to the same concerts, we're all getting the same entertainment, we're all driving the same cars, all of the things that are allowed by the government. This bill is actually communist. It actually takes away the property rights of private enterprise and gives it to people by government fiat. Mr Speaker, I know New Zealand First would love to take us back to the 1970s. I know that they'd like to go back to those grey old days of New Zealand, but the reality is today we live in a prosperous, diverse, property-owning, business-building, liberal democracy. I'm very proud of that and proud to oppose this stupid bill.
The member's time has expired.
Speaker.
I call the whistle.